SIUE head coach Sean Lyons, team picked seventh in the preseason poll. I believe it's eighth season at SIUE. Coach, just general thoughts on your team heading into the 2024 season.
Yeah, I mean, as we get into it, we've got a lot of big shoes to fill from some key losses from our team last year. We were a little more veteran last year, but we got a lot of new faces. So there's a little bit of some unknowns, a lot of question marks as we went out throughout the fall practices and here into the early preseason stuff. But we've been very fortunate as we've had some great weather to be able to get outside and get a little bit of a better evaluation of where we're at. And I think these first few weeks of the non-conference portion of our schedule is really going to help us answer some of those questions that we have, whether they're on the mound and finding some exact roles and whatnot. But we're pretty excited.
What with newcomers and stuff now in this era of college baseball and college sports, how do you put a roster together? The season ends last year. What are you looking to do, and how do you go find the players? Maybe if you have to find a few more than normal to fit your program, how's that kind of work?
Well, you're always identifying players that are going to help your program. But, we had some key losses on guys that maybe had an extra year eligibility or things like that because of the COVID stuff. Hopefully we're moving beyond that. And then with some transfer portal losses. But, you just keep trying to find guys that are going to fit your program. And you kind of model after the rest of the league a little bit in the regards of who's having success, what type of players are being able to be successful and help their teams win, and try to maybe find some guys that fit that mode and help your team. And I think we've done that. I think we've got a different look, maybe on the mound and whatnot. So we're excited to see how that all plays out.
As of February 8th, what is the strength of your team right now? And you expect there to be other strengths to maybe develop during the year?
Yeah, no, and I think you hit the key point right there. And we've stressed that this honestly has been one of my more enjoyable off-season, preseason practices because of the team growth that we've had and the development of some of our players. I think one of the biggest strengths that we have going into it is I think we have a bunch of guys that can really compete on the mound within the strike zone. And that is something that I think is going to be key for us. And when you look at some of the top arms in our league this past year, they've been guys that have commanded multiple pitches in the strike zone. And those have been the guys that have been successful. So we're hoping that is going to be a key. We return Tyler DeLong, who threw a ton of innings for us last year and had some success in the league. And I think he's going to help anchor our pitching staff. We've got some new guys that will, fit in and blend in behind him, some key bullpen pieces. So I think that might be the strength of our staff going into the week, the start to the season.
I've asked every coach this. What is the most important thing for your team to do to be in contention to win the OVC championship this year?
Well, honestly, I think it's about playing good baseball. As cliche as that can sound, is not beating yourself by not being able to handle the baseball defensively. And, with some of our ballparks and things like that, runs in the wind, can be some high scoring games. And you want to make sure that your opponent is earning every one of those runs and that you're not allowing yourself to give away freebies. I think that's going to be the big key for us here at SIUE. Our truly is going to be the growth from February 16th for the first 5 weeks of how we handle our non-conference schedule to get into the league. We need to get some confidence and some belief in what we're capable of doing. We're just probably not going to hit as many home runs as maybe we have in the past and have a power lineup, but I think we have the ability with some exciting young and new players that should be able to, provide a decent offensive punch.
Coach earlier had said something similar about, this year my team may be this, and the next year it's totally different. How do you adapt to that? Like, you may have the things you want your team to be, but if they end up having different pieces, how do you roll with those punches and say, we're going to be a slugging team this year. We're going to be a defense and pitching team this year.
Well, I think as a coach and with the rest of your staff, you have to be able to identify what you think your identity or makeup of your players are and what's going to help you be successful. I think, and getting your players to buy into that, because you may have 3 or 4, leftovers or guys from the year before that were part of a team that had a totally different mindset of how they were approaching offense or whatever it may be. And, I think to work those things day in and day out can help your team change and adapt. Now, I think every coach that probably answered that question would say, come April 20th, you may have to hit the reset and find a new way to get it done. Because I think that's, at the end of the day, we just want to have our team playing the best as we get into May.
What do you think the idea of the OVC is this year? We obviously had 3 new teams last year. We got Western Illinois. It's new now, 10 members. What do you expect out of the league this year?
It's competitive every year, from top to bottom. And I think I expect nothing different. I think obviously the addition to Little Rock last year has really brought some, competition up there at the top, with the perennials, with Moorhead and SEMO, and obviously the run Jason and EIU made last year was great and just shows what a team can do when they get hot there at the end of the year. But with the new faces and the second year with Lindenwood and Southern Indiana, I think they showed that last year they were not far away from being a real contender or a pest within the league. And I think that'll be nothing different with Western Illinois, with Coach Davis and his staff. I'm sure they're going to be ready to compete.
And maybe more specifically about Western, that's a team that's pretty geographically close to you all. The footprint has changed over the years, but there's not as many maybe long road trips as a few, but you had to take as in some past years. Is that beneficial to have another team, sort of right up the road?
Yeah, why not? It's obviously, you mentioned it's a familiar foe for us because we have consistently seen them throughout the midweeks and over the years. But every year it's a different team. So I love the fact that we don't necessarily have to make as many long trips, but I think it'll be good for competitiveness within the league.
We're back in Marion again this year, so your team was there last year. Just your thoughts on that being the venue for the OVC baseball championship?
Yeah, I think it was a great site as far as environment, atmosphere for the teams, and obviously it was an exciting tournament last year, and I would expect nothing different this year. And it'll be interesting what happens about, I guess, 3.5 months from now.
Well, hopefully there's good weather and good health for every team between now and then. So, Coach, thanks for your time this morning, and best of luck to you and the Cougars this season.
Absolutely. I appreciate it, Kyle. Thanks.